All right, everyone, let's walk through some back bend progressions. We're going to start by lying on our back, placing our feet as close to our bum as possible and our hands right there by our ankles. From there, I'm going to press down into the floor and lift my pelvis up as high as possible, walking my hands down to grab my ankles and lifting and squeezing your bum as high as you can get it. From there, go ahead and practice taking one leg off of the floor, right, and then left. Don't let your hips drop and slowly lower. This is step number 1. Progression number 2, I'm going to place my feet as close to my bum as possible. Take my hands, place them behind my waist. We don't want to have our fingers facing the back. Make sure those fingers are facing forwards and press up into a tabletop position. Keep those hips lifted. You can take your head back or keep it forward. That's your personal preference. Shoulders press down into the floor and open your chest as much as you can. Can go ahead and do the same thing. Practice lifting one leg, right and left. Don't let your hips drop. Keep them nice and lifted. These are all back bend progressions that I use for my pre-dancers from ages about 3.5 to 5 years old. I walk them through each of these steps. So the next back bend, we're going to go onto our back. We're going to bring our feet close to our bum. We're going to place our hands above our shoulders, our fingers going backwards. Make sure your elbows or your hands are narrow right next to your shoulders. We want to make sure our elbows are closed into the front of our ears as much as possible. We don't want them to go open. Elbows in, hands by your shoulders, press through your heels and through your hands and press up into that back bend. Make sure your students can hold this for 10 seconds. Squeeze your bum and lift it up to the ceiling. Come back down, hug your knees. You can do some rock and rolls. The next progression, we're going to go into our back bend. So once your students can hold a regular back bend, you can start taking a passe balance, lifting your right leg up, lifting your left leg up. Now it doesn't mean classical ballet. Now you can do single arms. For that passe balance, you can just lift your knee as high as possible. It doesn't actually have to be touching your knee. It's actually better if you lift it as high as you can because that's what you're going to need to do for kickovers. Make sure that leg is nice and straight and pointed toes. You can stretch it out as you come down in those back bends. I'm still recovering postpartum, so it's taking me a little while to get back into things. We're pressing back up into our back bend. Your next progression is to go ahead and extend that leg all the way up to the ceiling. So moving from that passe straight up into full extension, one arm and one arm. Go ahead and come down, hug your knees into your chest, breathe, rock and roll, massage the feet, move your body as you need. Next progression, we're going to place our feet back onto the floor, hands above our shoulders, press it up into your back bend. We're going to work on opposites. So you can see I'm still a little bit wobbly. So opposite arm and leg in a passe balance first. Once your students can achieve that, we're going to go into the next progression, which is a full leg extension. And next, we're going to press up into a back bend. We're going to lift our right leg straight all the way up to the ceiling and our left arm. The mat was just getting a little bit slippery. And opposite full extension. Come on down, hug your knees, and rock and roll, release your back. Make sure you're breathing. And we press back up into that full back bend. We're going to do no feet, which is just simple hops like this. And no hands to start. We're just lifting our wrist up off of the floor. Make sure those elbows stay straight. Once you get a little more advanced, you can press up into your back bend. And for no hands, you can start to come up a little bit higher. And that's our back bend progressions. Thanks for joining us. and we will see you next time. This is called hard work hair, when your bun starts to fall over. Thanks, guys.